I'm going to share with you a great new evangelism tool that we've been using at my church, Emmanuel Lutheran in Memphis, Tennessee, with some tremendous results. Ever since we've been using TrueLife, we've seen new faces show up in worship just about every Sunday. Our adult membership class has doubled, and maybe best of all, we're seeing that our members are really excited about inviting their friends to come to worship with them, and they're even getting out of their comfort zone and they're inviting total strangers. And this happens over and over again. So the first thing that I want to do is just tell you a little bit about TrueLife. So if you'll go to their website, truelife.org, you're going to see a number of awesome videos. There's about 50 videos on their website, and these provide free video answers to life's hard questions. And you're going to see that they have topics that range all the way from abortion to Wicca. And these are things that people are wondering about, they're thinking about, they have questions about, and this is just a real easy way to provide answers to folks who don't go to church or really don't know anything about the Bible or about Jesus. So let's just take a look at one of them. One of my favorites is the one on evolution. So just take a look at this. You're going to see some great graphics, great expertise, and best of all, it's going to answer the question of whether or not evolution really is rational. So take a look.
You hear this one a lot. Science has proven evolution, therefore evolution is true. Since evolution is true and Christians don't believe it, then Christians don't believe science and they aren't rational people. Really, let's put that claim to the test. First off, evolution in the sense that things change is evident. No rational person disputes that. Therefore, rational Christians believe it. We can observe change, but evolution in the sense that life came from non-life and then that life began to randomly generate new genetic information and over time it eventually produced humans is something entirely different and something that quite honestly doesn't hold up against science. In other words, evolution in the sense of molecules to man is not scientifically plausible and therefore should not be viewed as scientific fact. Quite honestly, it is in great opposition to science, that is, observational science, the kind of science we can test and repeat and use our five senses to understand. Science demonstrates that over time, living organisms lose genetic information. They don't gain it. That same science demonstrates that life doesn't arise from non-life. Follow along if you would. Fact 1. There is no known observable process by which new genetic information can be added to an organism's genetic code. None. That pretty much refutes evolution right away because there's no way to go from a fish to an amphibian without adding new information, right? If living organisms cannot produce new genetic information, how can anything gradually change into something of higher intelligence or form or complexity? That is, how can anything evolve from an amoeba to a man without adding new genetic information? The answer, of course, is that it can't. Plain and simple. Now, some have speculated and they have imagined all kinds of things and they brought in artists to produce creative renderings based on guesses, and they have been successful in telling a very convincing story that humans evolved from ape-like creatures. But those are just drawings, people. They're just stories. But what we really observe is humans are humans and apes are apes. Now, if fact 1 buried evolutionary thinking deep into the Precambrian soil, this next fact, fact 2, tosses so much sediment on it that not even the greatest team of paleontologists with the latest subterranean gizmo could dig up the remains. Check this out. Never, again, never has it been observed that life can come from non-life. So here are 2 major scientific evidences against evolution. I reiterate for clarity, life has never been observed to come from non-life, and there is no known, observable process by which new genetic information can be added to the genetic code of an organism. So, molecules to man evolution doesn't really make scientific sense. Yet we are all here, and life is all around us in various forms. Although evolution cannot account for this, the Bible can. The Bible reveals that the all-powerful, all-knowing, supernatural God created the heavens and the earth out of nothing, and all life according to its kinds, that is, each with its own set of genetic information. So, again, what the Bible reveals makes sense of what we see and understand. Evolution does not. Enough said.
So was that an awesome video or what? The great thing is that there are dozens more just like it on other topics that help answer questions that lost and unreached people are asking and that your members can connect these folks to. So once people have seen that these are some great videos, the other thing that they're going to find when they get on the TrueLife.org website is the Find a Church button. So if you look up at the top of the home page, there's a green button that says Find a Church. Go ahead and click on that. And once you do, then I want you to log into it, the zip code 38016. That, of course, is Memphis, Tennessee. And it's the place where I live. And when you do that, one of the first churches that's going to come up is Emmanuel Lutheran Church. So go ahead and click on that, and you're going to see that we have all this information about our church. So there's a nice picture there with a full church of people. This is actually a junior confirmation, so there's lots of people there. So it's going to look very inviting. But then also there's information about the church. There's a website, there's a phone number, there's the pastor's name, and you can put about anything you want on this page. You can see our vision statement and much, much more, worship times and so forth. And of course, you can do the same thing for your church. So here's how it works. People get these invitation cards. They go to TrueLife.org and they watch one of the videos. And almost every video has some kind of invitation at the end for people to check out a Bible-believing church. And of course, that would be a good description of your church. And so when they do this, they're going to be directed to the TrueLife.org site, and they can actually find your church and all the information about it. And hopefully, when the time comes, they're ready to attend a worship service, they're interested, they're going to go to your church, or they're going to go to your website, or they're going to call you and ask some questions, and you'll get to know them better. So this is the first thing that you really need to know about TrueLife. Okay, so now we're going to go to the Join the Cause page. And I'm going to show you how you can actually get your people to hand out invitation cards to your church, as many as 5 or 10 or even more than that, every single week. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that research shows that only about 2% of all church members are going to invite someone to come to worship with them in a given week. So let's just do some easy math, and let's just figure that your church has, 100 in worship. So 2% of that would be 2, right? So that means on a given week, you might have 2 of your members who are going to be inviting someone else to come to worship with them. What if you could double that, triple that? What if you could get 70 or even 80% of your people actually inviting someone to come to worship with them every week? Well, you know what? We found that's exactly what happened when we started using TrueLife. So here's the way that it works. If you kind of scroll down, you'll see the 5 ingredients. So the first thing that you need to do is to preach an outreach sermon, a good evangelistic law gospel message. Shouldn't be hard for you to do, right, Pastor? That's something that you've been trained to do, and I'm sure that you could do very well. So that's the first thing. And that's what we did at our church just a few weeks ago. And then the second step, and this is very important, is that at the end of the message, you hand out the invitation cards. Now, these cards are going to have information about your church on one side. So there's kind of like the standard church business card. They can have your logo, your design, but all the information, the contact information about your church. But here's what's different about these cards. On the other side, you're going to see the TrueLife.org website and the information on how people can get to that website. Now, what we've done was we actually bundled them up in groups of 5 with rubber bands so that they wouldn't fall on the floor. Then we had a basket at the exit of the church, so if people didn't pick theirs up or didn't get them earlier, they could pick up a bundle on the way out. So after that, then you want to show the training video, which depicts 2 real-life people, real folks from a real church who go out and they hand out their cards. One does it at a gas station and the other one does it at a grocery store. And it's really awesome because the lady, whose name is Katrina, the first person that she tries to give a card to doesn't take it. And that's real life. Not every person's going to take a card. Most will. In fact, I believe just about everyone I've tried to give a card to has accepted it, but there might be a few who don't. So this video is very encouraging, it's inspirational, and it shows exactly how to hand out the cards. And it's just so very simple. The way that I do it is I ask complete strangers. I just go up to them and I say, hey, do you like to watch videos? And almost always they do. So I say, hey, I've got some free videos that answer life's hard questions. And all you have to do is scan this little code, and it'll take you right to the website. or some of the cards have actually TrueLife.org on them. So you go straight to the website, and then I tell them there's all kinds of great videos there that give answers to life's hard questions, like who is God? Why do bad things happen to good people? Is the Bible really true? What's the difference between Christianity and other religions? And on it goes. So it's really easy to do. And in fact, why don't you just go ahead and watch the video right now.
Hi there, I'm Jesse, the founder of TrueLife.org, and we're here at Thomas Road Baptist Church to help show you how easy it is to evangelize and invite people with these TrueLife.org invitation cards.
What's up, Jesse?
Good to see you guys. Happy to be here. Thank you for coming. So we're encouraging evangelism and invitation in churches, not just Thomas Road Baptist Church, but your church as well. I'm sure your pastor probably gave you a TrueLife.org card today to hand out. And these cards are so unique because it takes the fear away from evangelism and invitation. That means that we don't have to be afraid of the questions that might be asked, or the time it's going to take, or not having a starting point. What if the recipient is afraid of going to church? Well, they can easily go online and get free video answers to questions like, how do we get the Bible? Why do bad things happen? Where do you go when you die? Does God love gay people? Is Mormonism true? Are Jehovah's Witnesses right? And the list goes on and on for any worldview. And then of course they can easily find your church on the Church Finder. Hey Will, so we're pulling up to a gas station right now, and all I need you to do is just go out and simply say, hey, I'd love to have you come to my church on Sunday. If you have any questions, you can go online and get video answers, okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go. God bless you, I'm praying for you, okay?
Let's see what happens. Hi, excuse me, how you ladies doing? Yeah, I don't know if you go to a church anywhere in the area, but I'd like to invite you to Thomas Road Church, see here. And if you don't have any time to make it to church right yet, you can see on the back, TrueLife.org, where you get free video answers to life's hard questions. And there's all kinds of different videos on there to answer questions that people have, like, is there a God? And why do we suffer? And things like that. So take a look at it. Remember, the Lord loves you.
Well, do you feel better right now? I mean, do you feel relieved that, at first you feel like a little bit...
A little nervous at first, yeah. But now I know I've given opportunity to people to find answers in God's Word, and that's exciting,
That's awesome. Well, you did a great job.
And they seem to be very open to it.
Sure. Would you suggest the same for people watching?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go out and do it. It's easy.
Katrina, it's your turn.
Oh
We're
yes.
gonna have some fun.
Yes.
You ready to do this?
Yes, I'm a bit nervous though.
You are? Yeah, I'm a little nervous for you too. I know you're gonna do well though.
Because I've never done this before. I always wanted to, but I'm nervous, but
well,
I'm gonna do it.
I'm praying for you, sister. I know you're gonna do fine. Here we are. This is good. Hey, you wanna talk? You can talk to her.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Yeah, I would love to come, you to come to my church
I
next
don't go to your
week.
church. I don't care.
You don't go to church? You can go online too if you want to.
I'm a Baptist down here.
Yeah. Okay. God bless you. So what you do is you keep going. Okay?
Yeah.
And someone else will take the card.
Yeah.
Since she didn't want to.
Do you go to church?
Sometimes.
Oh, great. That's good. So I would love to see you. Come over to my church next week. And if you're not ready, you can always go onto this website, like TrueLife.org, and there are some free video answers.
Okay.
There are a lot of questions we have sometimes, and there are a lot of videos explaining those questions, and you can always go and check those videos and have the answers.
Okay.
Yeah. It's nice meeting you. Have a great day. God
You
bless.
too.
Yeah.
Hey, Will.
Yeah.
Man, we had a great time in there.
Oh yeah.
Katrina surprised me. I knew she was going to do good, but she did really, really good.
Thank you.
You did.
Well, you know what happened? Initially, there was one lady who didn't want to take the card, and she was like, "No, I'm not going to come to church." And I was really, but then I didn't give up, and he was with me, and we went on ahead, and we gave the cards to a lot of people, and surprisingly, it wasn't really hard, and they were really receptive, and I loved it. Yeah.
Yes, well, I'm so thankful that you just did my job. I don't have to explain nearly as much anymore to you back in the sanctuaries. We're not a different person than you. We are made in God's image just like you are, and every Christian has the opportunity to do this. And I can promise you from the bottom of my heart that there is nothing better than to share your faith with people. So I'm challenging you today, share your faith, hand out these cards, and see what God can do in your life and in the lives of others.
Okay, now that you've watched the training video, the next thing is that you got to close out the sermon. So you have to make the ask. You have to ask the congregation to raise their hands and ask, how many of you are going to be willing, by God's grace and power, to hand out these TrueLife.org cards, these church invitation cards, this next week? Now, when we did this, we found that just about everybody raised their hand. It was over 90%. In fact, we even have a video that you can watch to see that I'm telling the truth. Take a look. How many of you are willing to accept that challenge by the grace and the power of God in front of all the people here at Emmanuel Lutheran Church? Pastor Will's watching. Raise your hand if you're willing to try. Raise them right now if you're willing to try to hand out these cards this week. Awesome. I think just about everybody has their hand. You saw them, right? And he's going to ask you next week, by the way. Pretty cool to get people to raise their hands in church, right? So, and what we did next, and this is also very, very important, is we told people that we're going to ask them again the next week. So how many of you actually handed out your cards? And you know what? The very next week, we had about 70% of our people raise their hands and say that they handed out the cards. In fact, some of them handed out multiple cards.
All right. How many of you handed out 2? 3?
We normally have about 300 or so in our worship services, and so we estimated that we probably had 1,000 to 1,200 cards handed out during the week. And you know what? We saw new people come to worship the very next Sunday. How awesome is that? Oh, and here's the last step. This is very important as well. So you preached the message, you've shown the training video, you've handed out the cards, you've asked people to do this, you've asked them the next Sunday. Whether or not they did it, you need to do this on a regular basis. In fact, if you'll do this once a month during this next year, I can guarantee you're going to see lots of new people come to your church worship services. And how awesome will that be? And then you'll be able to share with them the good news of Jesus and, of course, continue to disciple them and then turn them loose to do the same thing. They're going to be some of the most excited people to hand out the cards and invite their friends and neighbors as well. Of course, the greatest benefit from this whole process is that lots more people are going to hear about the good news of Jesus. Some of them will connect to your church. And, of course, all of those who believe that Jesus truly is their Savior and He died for them on the cross and rose again, they're going to spend eternity in heaven. That's what this is all about, is reaching the world with the good news of Jesus. May God bless you in that endeavor.